Alrighty, so I'm Kayla. I'm a marketing specialist here at Wrenchway, and I'm joined today with Michael Shoebroek, who is the department chair at Austin Community College. How are you doing today, Michael?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, I'm doing good. Just to get us kicked off here today, why don't you just tell me a little bit about how you attract students to your automotive program?
Hmm. Well, to attract new students to the program, we actually have a person, an instructional associate that works for the department that I just plug him into any and all career fairs, um, high school recruiting events that come up, sometimes car shows. Um, he goes out and just sets up a table. Most recently, though, we've armed him with a couple of pairs of VR goggles and an automotive repair game, and a couple televisions. So he sets that thing up, and you can just imagine at a high school you got a couple of 42-inch flat screen TVs and some VR goggles. We're going to take it to our first event March 3rd, I believe it is, for recruiting and just see how it works. It's really new for us, but you can well imagine where the high school students are going to be drawn to when they see these games. But so just participation in career events for new programs. We do speak we go to high school automotive programs occasionally when they invite us out, or we're on their advisory committee. That's another good way to get new students, is just be involved on the advisory committee for your local high school. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely important to find unique ways to get involved and kind of excite students about this industry for sure.
yes, yes. I would encourage, and I do this during my advisory committee. If you're looking at this video or you've wondered how can I attract new people to the automotive program, one of the best things you could do is just go get involved in your local automotive program advisory committee. Just start there. They have an advisory committee meeting twice a year. That's 2 hours out of the whole year. Okay. And if you can't go, just find somebody from your dealership or your shop to send. The advisory committee that I'm on, and I have my folks on advisory committees. I go to high school. We meet first thing in the morning for an hour, and we're out of there. First thing in the morning, and they provide coffee and breakfast tacos, but 2 times a year. It's not much of a commitment. And then I'll hear from that instructor. There's actually 2 instructors. I'll hear from them by email if they need something. If they need engines, transmissions, training aids. And it's been good to see how the industry has gotten really plugged into this one particular program, but also around our district. What we can do to help other programs. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So then what do you wish more middle and high school students kind of knew about the technician career and the industry as a whole?
As you say that, there's something in Texas that I wish everybody knew more about with middle schools, okay? At the 8th grade level, somewhere in the second half of the school year, parents are invited to come out to help their 8th grader pick their sort of career path for high school. And so that's the time that I really wish the industry and schools were invited down, because these parents, I was one of those parents. I was kind of surprised by what was happening. I not really knew what to expect, but it's a good place to plug in colleges, universities, and employers to kind of talk about, hey, if your 8th grader's interested in how mechanical things work, then you might think about ag science, welding, automotive, those sorts of things, even at the 8th grade level. I do see elementary schools and middle schools and definitely high schools that have, they call them college and career days, and that's a great place to get plugged in. Personally, they hold the title recruiter, but we have folks from the industry. I mentioned to you earlier when we were talking Pep Boys, and there are others, BMW. They're just a plethora of them. I try to invite those folks out to those college and career days, so that it's not just a school talking to the student about the salaries that they could expect to see, the fact that there are jobs everywhere, but these recruiters are there also. Now they're technically probably looking for full-time technicians at their level, but it also helps get them plugged in to the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great that you guys do that you just show the opportunities that are out there, and then getting the parents involved, I think, is just like the little icing on the cake for that, for sure.
Yes.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about how you use Wrenchway and School Connect?
So how do we use Wrenchway? As I was saying earlier, right now, what we do when employers contact me about wanting to hire our students, I have a standard. There's so many, so they happen so often. There are so many. I have a standard email response that includes, "Hey, check out Wrenchway," and I hyperlink Wrenchway so that they can easily click on it to see the website and how to get connected to technicians that are out there across the United States.
Yeah, that's great. We really appreciate you utilizing our tool, and I think it's just great to kind of get that word out there. And then how do you kind of get local industry involved in your classroom?
That's a tough one when you mention the classroom. So the easy answer is at the advisory committee level, I have local business and industry involved on my advisory committee. Okay, multiple advisory committees, because we have an advisory committee for a Honda program, one for Toyota, one for the generic program, one for motorcycle. And so I get them involved on the advisory committee at that level. And when we need training aids, they're the first one of the first go-tos for, components, show and tell items, that sort of thing. They also get invited to what I call meet and greets at the very beginning. Week 2 to 4, we have meet and greets that I pick one day for our North Campus, one day for our South Campus, to invite employers to come on campus and visit with students for jobs, right? I sent an email out earlier this week to 275 employers to invite them to the June. We'll have our next one in June, next 2 of them in June. So then I'll follow that up closer to the semester start and roll out an invitation to all the students. Right now, this semester, we have 265 students. So yeah, so those are the ways we get local business and industry plugged in.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think it's great to have those types of resources available to the students as well. Well, that's all the questions that I had for you today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
If you're looking for technicians, you need to get involved in Wrenchway. You need to get involved in your local advisory committee at the high school level. So many times I get emails from employers that say, "Hey, I'd like to get to know your program, and if we'd love to hire your latest and greatest, brightest students." You're just behind the 8 ball at that point. You really need to get involved earlier, as soon as you can, because our students, in many cases, by the time when they start our program, they have jobs. They're not looking for jobs at the end. They've already had a job. So yes, so get involved anywhere you can plug in. There's help needed everywhere. So.
Absolutely. Well, again, Mike, I really appreciate you taking time to speak with me today. And again, just thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
All right, have a great day.